It started with a sound on the porch, a tap, a light scrape against the window screen that had no visible cause. A man went to the door and saw a small gray form only a few feet away. It did not run. It seemed to look back. This was a farmhouse near Kelly-Hopkinsville County, Kentucky, on an ordinary summer evening in August 1955. The household was a mixed group of relatives and a visitor. There were chickens in the yard, a small radio in the kitchen, and the normal routines of country life. Nothing in the day suggested that the night would not be ordinary. What followed was not a single anomalous observation, but a sequence of them. The first impression was of small bipedal figures at the perimeter of the porch and around the outbuildings. Witnesses described them as short, with thin limbs and large eyes. They moved in jerks. One was said to hover briefly before dropping back to the ground. The family fired guns from the doorway and out the windows. Reports claim more than 40 shots were discharged over the course of the night. The creatures were struck, or so the witnesses said, yet they appeared uninjured and would withdraw only to return at intervals. At one point, a small figure was reported at an upstairs window, peering in. Dogs went silent. A lamp on the porch went out. Later, it burned again. Neighbors and a responding deputy recorded statements. 11 people eventually gave consistent accounts of repeated close encounters. Police who went to the scene the next day found a disturbed yard and a number of spent shell casings, but no bodies, no dead animals, no physical remains that matched the witnesses' descriptions. An officer who stood by recorded the fear on the faces he encountered. The witnesses retreated to the farmhouse for hours, and their actions that night, calling relatives, barricading doors, keeping watch with loaded rifles, are part of the official record. Investigators looked for ordinary causes. Local explanations ranged from misidentified nocturnal birds to pranksters with flashlights. Some scientists later suggested barn owls flying close to the house could account for luminous eyes and peculiar motions in dim light. Others pointed out that a small group, alarmed and tired, can converge on a shared narrative. The Air Force interviewed witnesses and logged the incident among civil reports. The case did not yield corroborating radar or photographic evidence. Physical evidence was ambiguous. Shell casings and disturbed ground on one hand, and the absence of bodies or clear indentations on the other. None of these possibilities accounts for every detail without creating new difficulties. If birds explain the sightings, why did multiple adults report the same specific morphology and behavior over several hours? If mass misperception is the answer, why did the actions include coordinated defensive responses and repeated claims of close contact? If something physical was struck, why were there no verifiable wounds, no carcasses, no prints that fit the descriptions? Statements by law enforcement confirm fear and consistency. Forensic follow-up was limited and inconclusive. Decades later, the episode lives in police reports, newspaper archives, and Air Force files. Names, times, and a stack of witness statements remain. The part that does not sit comfortably in any explanation is small and concrete. A cluster of nearly identical eyewitness accounts describing close, repeated approaches, gunfire at point-blank range, and the persistence of those descriptions in official transcripts. And yet no material trace that answers what those witnesses saw. The file stays open in the quiet way a case file can remain open, its central question still waiting for resolution.